It's time again for another installment of The Basics, and I'm answering another viewer question, and this is in regards to attempting one of your opponent's missions on the spaceline. Can it be done, and should you? Let's get started, shall we? Okay, to explain how this works, I've simulated a two-player game. Federation is playing Klingon, you are playing as the Federation deck. In this case, I've only put out ships, missions, and outposts, and the draw decks, just for fun, because you don't really need a lot for me to explain this to you. So, you've just moved on your last turn, the USS Defiant, one of your ships, to one of your opponent's missions. The first thing you have to do is make sure the affiliations match up. You're playing as Federation. You can see in the opponent sidebar, there is the blue for Federation, and you can see it down there. So you can attempt this mission. The next thing is the requirements in terms of skills. Stellar cartography is the only skill required for this mission. So you'd go through the personnel on your ship to make sure that at least one of them has stellar cartography so you can attempt the mission. Finally, if there are any leftover dilemmas or any other cards at this baseline location that can hamper the mission or your attempt of it, you have to take those into consideration and deal with them first. Now, it really is that simple, except for the fact that obviously there will be some missions on the spaceline that are centric towards one affiliation, like this Klingon mission, this Federation, and this other Klingon one. So obviously you can't attempt an opponent's mission that is only his affiliation. Makes no sense. Now, there are exceptions to this. There are two spaceline locations, which are Universal Space and Universal Nebula. They are not missions. They cannot be attempted from either side. They have been created as a span reference for range and passing ships along the spaceline more than anything else. Also, the Dominion mission, Construct Depot, cannot be done from the opponent's side. If you read the lore on the card, you'll see why. I'm not going to get into full detail about that because I don't have that card handy at the moment. And finally, the last thing you have to worry about, or take into consideration, is the Neutral Zone mission, Patrol Neutral Zone. Now, this is different because the requirements are this: leadership plus no opposing ships in Neutral Zone. X equals number of neutral zones locations in play, so 10 points X. In my experience in playing the Star Trek CCG in 1E, you will have a spaceline that has at least 2 neutral zone locations, if not 3. If you're anywhere in those neutral zone locations, as is another ship from your opponent, you cannot attempt this. My advice when you get to these special missions or spaceline range cards, as I call them, is to avoid them and just continue on. Don't even bother with it. But if you do come across an opponent's mission that you can attempt, by all means, go for it. Get the points. Now, the other type of missions that I didn't talk about, which are the universal missions that any crew can attempt so they don't have any affiliation colors or symbols on them, those are a free-for-all. Any crew may attempt this mission means any crew may attempt this mission. That's why I use them in several of my decks, because you don't have to worry about an affiliation thing and you can go right ahead, go through those missions, and get the points. That's all for today. Have a great day, everybody.